Okay.
So even like in this situation, when a victim says later they recanted, that happens a lot of times for many different reasons, and yet it was true when it happened. And the fear is you have it happening over and over and over, and then one day we get a call that it's a homicide.
And as many of you may already know, that is Miss Stapleton, the new survivor victim advocate. She replaced Mr. Roche when the new governor came in. He handpicked his board members, and if there was anyone that could replace or would replace Mr. No Way Roche, it would be Miss Stapleton. She is a true victim survivor advocate, laying down the fact she takes DV seriously and she's not buying anything that he is serving up. Now, this is something quite interesting. Sir Richard pointed out when recording this hearing. This he looks at himself in the screen here for a full, I say, 12 minutes. Now, we're not going to sit and watch him look in the mirror in the screen for 12 minutes, but I'll just put it on I don't know, 8X or something like that, and then we'll jump into this parole revocation hearing. But while we watch and while I talk, I can share you a little bit of info and background. I mean, his initial arrest in 2015, and here he's got some facial hair in this picture, and it's interesting. He goes by the street name of Donald Duck. I mean, his first name's Donald, so I guess that just became his nickname. And they found quite a bit of, illegal substances on him. I have to be careful with what I say. YouTube is really cracking down on saying any word, like with the illegal word substance in it. It's quite ridiculous. It's actually insane. They will block it out and flag it as talking about recreational narcotics use. And I will appeal it and say, this is not recreational narcotics use. This is a parole hearing. This is the opposite of it. Literally, the context of what you flagged is someone talking about how they are rehabilitated, how narcotics are bad. And then YouTube will say, we don't care, and they flag it. And look, I don't know. I don't think it's anything malicious. I just think that their combination of AI and even what they call human reviewers is just broken. It's not just me saying this. It's like even the big YouTube channels. And it's just insane. Like, really, it is. It's like YouTube's just given up caring. I don't know. Because like my channel is only parole hearings. You can't even mistake it. It's like it's one simple button. How does a human reviewer call this recreational use? But can't make it up. Make it make sense, right? I mean, it's weird. I don't know. Anyways, we'll jump into this parole revocation hearing. It is nice to see Miss Stapleton and Miss Ledoux make things work. And I don't know, maybe maybe we can see if the preacher doesn't make a mistake in this hearing. I don't know. I wouldn't bet against it, but let's see. So with that, let's jump in.
Okay, sir, you said that on the number 3 question that you were not guilty. You failed to report to the new you failed to report the new address to supervising agent. Why is that not guilty?
Because I never, when I got released from jail in 23, my address was 2. And when this so-called situation that I came to jail for occurred, I had resided at my own address, which was 1, and I reported it in the parole officer. Like when I do my monthly reports, I put the new date on the new address on there. And that's my address I've been at my whole life. I just was living there temporarily with my girlfriend, and things went wrong, and I just went back to my house.
Did you let him know that you switched back and forth like that? I mean, did you?
Yes, ma'am, I did. And it's in black and white. Like when you fill out the monthly report, you have to put your address on there. And I also, like, anytime my parole officer advised me if anything was to change, I always notify him, and we always did phone messages and we were supposed to do duos, but I don't recall any duos, but I always notified him of everything. But he wasn't talking about that address. I guess he's talking about another address. So I'm not sure though. But as far as the part, I had wrote y'all a letter. Y'all received my letter I wrote?
Yes, we received several letters. Mhm.
Okay, well,
Okay, I got it.
yeah, like I never admitted to not being at, but when it came down to preliminary hearing,
Yeah,
I guess they misunderstood what I said, but I never admitted to not living at the address I've been at my entire life.
okay, let me ask you about, the number 4. You were arrested on May 21st, 2024 by the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office and charged with domestic abuse battery with child in danger.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain that to me, please?
Okay. The incident happened June something. I don't remember the correct date, but uh, the so-called victim, which was my witness, but she couldn't log into the Zoom. But anyway, they called me into the police station, and they were like, they just wanted to hear my side of the story because everything wasn't adding up. So I went into the station, and they heard my side of the story, and the officers were like, I was free to go. Now, from that time until I think the paperwork said January 19th of 24.
Yes, January 15th.
Okay, that right there, from my knowledge, the victim had suffered from a seizure. And it had some pictures or something, the parole officer said, some pictures about her face being swollen or something like that.
That's right.
But that wasn't what I came to jail for.
What'd you come to jail for?
I came to jail for me and her getting in an argument in June of 2023. That's what I came to jail for in May, but that's what the warrant came about from June, or whatever the date was in June. At January incident, I was nowhere around.
Okay, well, the January incident, according to the report, Ms. Price claimed that Mr. Williams became upset after she refused to let him use her vehicle. He struck Ms. Price multiple times in the face, causing a seizure episode. When she woke up, she had several contusions on her face, and the child was in the living room. What about that one? And she said that she did not say anything about the incident at the time because she feared retaliation from you.
That's not true, ma'am. If that was true, I'm not trying to argue nothing y'all saying, but if that was true, I would have had more than one count of domestic abuse battery if it was more than one incident, right?
Not if she doesn't report it.
She reported it that day, like,
That one. And then let's see, Agent Bear also provided 4 photos of Miss Price that were filed with the January police report, okay, the one we just talked about, January police report. The photos show a laceration and bruising on the forehead and right eye was swollen shut.
is there any way we can notify the victim? Cause she tried to log on, she even called the bailiff, let's see. Lieutenant Foote just she called up here trying to log into it. She said she couldn't get into it. She can speak better than I could because that happened from us, ma'am.
I would like to read from the narrative that your agent provided. On May 22nd, 2024, received a call from your ex-girlfriend, you said, or she said, she asked if the subject had a hold of him, previously spoke to her about the new domestic abuse battery charge, and she told me she was fearful for her life, told her the subject is detained, and I met with him today at the jail. I asked why he was so confident she was dropping the charge. She stated she told him that because she is afraid of him hurting her or sending someone to hurt her. Stated she will not be dropping the charge. And the agent said that he would be monitoring the charge. And then you told the agent that she would be coming and dropping those charges.
Yeah, because my family had spoke with her and she let me know, she let them know that she's not going through with it because it's not true. She just was hurt because I was dealing with another female.
Well, we've got some pictures. And we've got a police report. And so we've got January and then we've got May, because you said there was no previous one. And then that says there was an alleged incident in June of 2023, according to.
That's when I came to jail for the June incident. There was no January.
So June of 2023, we got January 2024, and we got May of 2024. And then we've got her saying that she was fearful of you. That's why, you know, she didn't come forward and that you wanted her to drop the charges.
Did y'all receive a letter from the victim?
You have to understand about police charges and if somebody goes to drop them, the victim does not bring the charges. The state brings the charges. So
Okay.
if a police officer goes to a crime scene because they've been called by someone or by the person saying that they're being beat up and they see evidence of that by bruises on the person or the statement of the person. So then the state brings the charges.
Okay.
So even like in this situation, when a victim says later they recanted, that happens a lot of times for many different reasons, and yet it was true when it happened. And the fear is you have it happening over and over and over, and then one day we get a call that it's a homicide.
I understand.
And there's where the problem comes in. Especially when we have pictures and we see bruises and swollen eyes and different things like that, even if the victim comes back and says that they made that allegation.
Yes, ma'am. Is there, look, can I speak?
Yeah,
As
go
far
ahead.
as far as the photos, like when that situation happened, I was nowhere around and the woman put the photos on Facebook. And one of her female, how would I put it? A woman that she's dealing with who's trying to eliminate me out of the picture so she can get closer to the woman, provided the picture to the police. Miss Price didn't bring the pictures to the police. It was another female named Tasha who brought the pictures to the police. And then she persuaded the victim that she had to come to the police station because the victim said something about some money being stolen. She went there with the situation about the money. And that's
Right.
when.
Well, she talked about that the money was stolen. But we do have the domestic abuse battery. So we're just gonna stick with what is on the revocation sheet. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll stick with that and the address.
Okay.
That, because we have all that we're dealing with, that we actually have, that you're not living at your reported address and refusing to report your new residence is what it says here. And there's already been a preliminary hearing.
I
And
live at one. Ma'am?
They found probable cause at the preliminary hearing on all these things.
Okay. But I reside at the one address. What address do y'all have as far as me living at?
Oh, no.
There's a big difference between what address you put on as a residence and where you lay your head at night. Hey, and
Okay.
if they're used to seeing you over at your girlfriend's all the time, then that's where they're gonna go look for you. Okay?
Okay.
So this going back and forth, that's not the conditions of parole.
No, I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. I'm not trying to go back and forth. I'm just,
No, it's just frustrating because people don't stay where they're saying they're gonna stay.
I was staying at the 289, but after the misunderstanding, I went back to my original address.
Okay, well, I don't have any more questions.
Mr. Tillman?
I have no questions.
I think the panel is prepared to vote.
Yes, sir, I'm gonna find you in violation. I'm gonna revoke you today based upon the, revocation hearing, domestic abuse battery with child endangerment, that you weren't at the residence, that you said you were going to be. And you failed to report your new, address to your supervising agent. So on 3, 4, and 9, I'm gonna revoke you.
Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Ms. Stapleton.
My vote is also to revoke for the same reason. So today your parole has been revoked. The time is 11:19 and we've concluded our business at LaFish.
All right. And if you're one of the few that feel bad for him, don't. This is in his control. It's his freedom on the line. And one of the things that he's expected not to do is beat up his girlfriend. But each, you see this all the time. And as Ms. Stapleton said, you hear about these DV cases time and time and time again, and then it results in a homicide. And I believe that Ms. Stapleton shared the data that Louisiana has the highest rate of DV resulted homicide, and it just has to stop, right? You got to send a message that it's not just going to be a technical violation and you'll be out after 30 days. They revoked. Now, I don't know how much time he's going to back up and how much time he had. He was originally locked up in 2015 for possession with intent to distribute, and they have pictures of it, and there's a lot of stuff in there and whatnot. But again, I don't talk about it because it's just YouTube. But it's then it's interesting saying, well, she's not bringing the charge. She's not bringing the charges. It never happened. The pictures, it's from a girl. Someone else posted the pictures. He doesn't like me. And then Miss Stapleton's like, she doesn't need to press charges. It's the state. And I like when they do that. It's like, it used to be the state, would say, oh, they don't need to press charges. And then eventually the state became a bit wiser. They changed the laws. They realized, oh, wait a minute. Actually, this is exactly how DV works. They're always going to retract their statement. And we need to be able to protect people even from themselves. And I wish that they would advance the laws around that with like child stuff, but slow, baby steps. No pun intended. And man, yeah, so maybe we'll see him again. I don't know. If we do, check the playlist called The Return Of. That's where we play parole hearings when we see someone for a second or third time, and many are popping up on that playlist. So with that, I have nothing else to say, so I'll let you go.
So even like in this situation, when a victim says later they recanted, that happens a lot of times for many different reasons. And yet it was true when it happened. And the fear is you have it happening over and over and over. And then one day we get a call that it's a homicide.